Hey YouTube, how's it going? Got a 2001 Suzuki QuadMaster 500. Need to change the belt on it, I think. Thought I'd do a quick video on it. Maybe somebody out there can use it. This is the first time I've changed the belt on this. It's a 2001, so what is it? 17 years old. But it's only got like 700 miles on it, believe it or not. The reason I'm changing it is it seems like it's not reaching its top end speed. So I'm thinking the belt's slipping. So I got a new belt off of eBay, good old eBay. And the belt's located behind this cover here. So I'm going to take all of this off. I'm going to start with taking the footrest off and the mud flaps. So the tools I'm going to use for that, I've got my Milwaukee M18 driver. Pretty nice little tool. Little plug there, I guess. So I've got 1/4-inch drive extensions on it. I'm going to need a Phillips, that's a P2, 10mm socket, 8mm socket, and a universal joint. So I'm going to take this footrest off first. Take all these bolts off. You got 10mm up here, 8mm around here as far as I can tell. Take these hose clamps off here for the cooler, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. I'll try to make it quick. It's important that you try to lose at least one bolt while you're doing this. Then you know you've done it right. I mentioned I bought the belt off of eBay. I looked on Amazon, and eBay was the cheapest that I got my particular belt through. It's $32 free shipping. Now, I'm gonna need to get an extension for that, for the screwdriver. So let's go with the 10. Now I got that pulled out of the way. Yeah, that works. Just twist that out of the way. Perfect. Switch back over to the 10. Another little tip. taking something apart that you've never taken apart before. I've never had this apart before. A lot of times you'll have different length bolts, and so you want to pay attention to where the bolts went. So just going to make a mental memory, and if you don't think you can remember, you can always get a little Sharpie. You can like go 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, you know, mark them. I've done that a lot. Okay, I'm going to finish taking this off it. It's going to waste time having you guys watch that. I'll get this all taken apart and then I'll pause back in. Okay, this is take 2 on this segment. Took this off and realized my camera wasn't recording, so kind of recap what I did. So I got this cover off and got a gasket there. It's full of dust and mud, debris in there. So with that cover off, this kind of serves as a belt inspection cover. You could look in there and kind of check the condition of your belt. This little duct here blows air up to the head. It blows it over the top of the head. So I took all the rest of the bolts off around here. I had to take the return spring off the brake because there's a bolt right back there that the spring was in the way. And all these bolts around this cover, not the inspection cover, but the rest of the cover, they're all the same except for these two. And they were long. They were a lot longer, but they were the same as each other. So this was stuck on here pretty good. It's got a gasket in there, and what I did is tapped around it with a dead blow hammer, a plastic hammer. It's loaded full of shot. I think it's lead shot, but kind of break the seal. And then what I had to do is get a little pry bar back up in here and put a little pressure on it, pop it loose. Took a little bit of pressure. It's been on there 17 years, so stuck on there pretty good. If you can, you know, take care to not rip the gasket that's in there. And okay, this is where I got to when I found out my video wasn't working. So I'm going to try to pull this off. I may have to take the brake cable off. Let's see. See if it'll come off. But my belt didn't look too bad, you know, through this cover, but so on this one, that's a metal gasket with some gasket material on it, it appears. Rubber sealing on there. And I may have to take that whole brake pedal all the way off. Doesn't look like it's going to allow me to maneuver anything. If you're out there watching in the comments and you've done this before and know a trick to it, go ahead and leave it in the comments. So pretty dusty in there, so I think I'm gonna have to take the brake pedal completely off to get this cover off. So let's see what that looks like. That looks like a socket cap screw, so I'm gonna need an Allen wrench to take that off. Looks like about, I don't know, 6mm or something. I'll go see what it is and pause back in. Okay, finally got the cover off. What I wound up doing was, that was a 5mm, by the way, but I wound up not taking that off. I pulled the cable off, swung it all the way down, and then I had to take this other post off that holds up the footrest. It bolts right there, sticks out like this one does. Bolt the footrest down, and that allowed me to slide it out. So it's pretty dusty in there. All this loose stuff powdery, muddy stuff down in there. Felt the shivs, there's just a little bit of wear in there, not bad. This one's pretty well perfect in the back. Belt doesn't look too bad. I measured it widthwise with a pair of veneer calipers and compared it to the new one, and I got 5 thousandths, only 5 thousandths wear on this according to my calipers. Anyway, take my word for it, 5 thousandths. So I think this belt's okay. I wonder if all this dust and stuff is prohibiting it from reaching its full RPM. So there's a bunch back up inside there. I don't know if you can see all that crud back up in there. And this is the inside of the cover that I just pulled off, and it's caked up with all that stuff too, so got some cleaning ahead of me. The bushings here look in good shape. They're clean, so there's not much grease on them from the factory. Like I said, I've never had this part, so there's the shaft there. No scoring on it, so I'll clean that up really good and put some new grease on it. And oh yeah, another thing, I took these 2 screws off to get this mud flap and give me a little more clearance, because there's a little nub there on the cover that wants to catch right there. So I'll get her all cleaned up and blow it out some compressed air and put some new grease on the bushings, and we'll pause back in then. Okay, so I took that rest off, butt rest for the footboard. These got Loctite on them, both of them. So you want to put that back on when you reassemble it. So I got the belt off. Here's the new one. It appears to be a little bit smaller. This one's stretched, I think, maybe. I don't know. Hard to tell, but it may be stretched a little bit, and that would cause it to lose a little on the top end. So, oh yeah, I was going to tell you, these are 14 millimeter, in case I didn't tell you. 14 millimeter socket takes those off. Alright, now the challenge with this shorter belt, since I had a heck of a time getting the stretch belt off, let's see if this will go on for me. Now another thing, while you got it off, check and make sure you have no buildup of rubber on the shivs on your primary and secondary. I mean, these are just shiny spots. They're not really like a rubber deposit. So you can get some kind of Scotch-Brite and take that off with a solvent. Make sure you clean the solvent off and it's completely dry when you put it together. Alright, let's see if I can get this to go on easier and not come off. I got the lettering facing out. Let's see if this will work. gonna go, or break. There we go. Yeah, that belt feels a little tighter than the one I just took off, so gotta let it get seated in there. And there we go. So they recommend to run it no more than half throttle for 30 miles, get the belt broke in. So hope you like this video. Pretty much you don't need to see me put it back together, just opposite of taking it apart. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. If you don't, click the thumbs down button twice. Share, like, and subscribe. Sure appreciate it. Thanks for watching.